So I first was introduced to coding when I was 10 with a Texas Instruments home computer that I really just got to play games on after I was bored playing the games that I had, and I didn't have much allowance to buy a bunch more games, and there was no internet to connect it to for me to just connect to a game. I got bored with it, and it came with a book on how to program in a language called BASIC. And so I said, well, let me look in this book. And I flipped through it, and I said, oh, I can type this. And I typed the basic programs that they had in there, the introductory programs, and then I learned how to just make my name move across the screen. And that was really my first do-it-myself program that just got me hooked on wanting to do this all the time. What I do today as executive director for CodeCrew is lead this program, this nonprofit organization, which is very focused on convincing more kids, especially kids from underrepresented groups, to consider careers in computer science. In fact, career, college, and entrepreneurship in computer science, to positively impact kids and get them to start to see themselves as producers of technology, not just as consumers of technology. The challenge is that there's just an overwhelming lack of access to the skills of becoming producers. Now, in the past 10 years alone, 35% fewer schools actually offer coding classes in school. And so that's a problem. We shouldn't be surprised as a society that we don't have enough tech producers because, well, we haven't been generating them. And at the same time, the ones we have been generating have been sorely lacking in diversity. We must solve the diversity problem, the lack of diversity in these fields if we expect to be prosperous as a city. I get up every morning and I think about how can we make this program stronger? How can we make an even bigger impact on Memphis and on our nation and on this world through tech education and convincing young people to consider these careers. Right now, CodeCrew, every week we're directly teaching 170 kids across Memphis through 5 after-school programs and 3 in-school electives classes and a weekend video game development class. 170 kids across Memphis to code in some way, right? Seeing them anywhere from 1 to 5 times a week. However, I don't believe that's enough to move the needle. So we'll continue to add programs in terms of after-school programs, in-school electives, other weekend and one-time events for kids. But one of the next things we're going to do is actually start teaching teachers how to do this. And so that we can scale from hundreds of kids at a time to tens of thousands of kids at a time. In all that we do, we seek to demonstrate what's possible by presenting as many role models to kids as we can. The dream fundamentally I have for African Americans and Latinos in Memphis is for coding to be just as popular as sports, as music, all these endeavors that they're encouraged to go into, right? I want that same level with respect to, I want parity and equality of coding with those other things, right? And such that it's normal, that it's not something that is considered special anymore, that a kid from South Memphis or from Binghamton or Orange Mound or Frazier is a coder, is a software developer, that they're making their own apps, that they're making their own games. It's a cultural shift that I dream about making a reality in Memphis. We are trying to basically fill the pipeline as widely as we can, such that we no longer hear that excuse that there's a scarcity of talent, right? We want to overwhelm the departments of computer science in our area colleges and even around the nation, such that they don't know what to do, right? They've got to expand because there's so much tremendous interest, especially from a diversity perspective. I'll be able to rest comfortably if we achieve that dream, which I think is an achievable reality. Networks are tremendously important, and our story is an excellent example of that. It all just came together very nicely for us to, myself and my co-founders, 3 people who had never started a nonprofit before, didn't really entirely know what we were doing in that regard, but all of us were passionate about making this difference in Memphis. Get out, go out and just meet people, find out what people are doing and let people know what you're doing. And there's a certain evolution that organically happens when you have enough critical mass of interesting people doing interesting things. I've always loved software since I was a 10-year-old kid, and I wrote my first program to make my name move across the screen, right? Some 30-something years later, I'm still passionate about that. So through CodeCrew, this is actually just a dream come true opportunity for me to take that passion for software and that passion for kids and that passion for giving back and making a contribution to my hometown, and that passion for a better America, especially demonstrating that we as African Americans can be just as successful as we put our minds to. So that's the beauty of it all, and that's why I get up every day, and this is what makes me happy.